Hello and welcome to Manifesting Monday. I am Jean Berry, your host, and I invite you to manifest with me. Today, we are going to be talking about the third step in taking a leap. So this is the step-by-step process that happens in each part of your world and energy when you are up-leveling. And so we started out, if you haven't watched the first two, we started out with awareness. And so a leap is an acronym for taking the leap, the things that actually happen in the physical world when you are looking to manifest something new. So awareness. And before we get any deeper into awareness, I want us to ground here. Because it is a full moon today, and there's a lot of releasing happening right now. And so, although I'm here to kind of teach you something new, if you're not ready for something new, it's really hard to manifest something new. And so let's go ahead and ground for a moment. Get connected to that thing that you are looking to manifest. And in that breath, what did you call in on the new moon? What was it that you were looking for? Maybe you set a New Year's resolution. And here we are now, 13 days in. And maybe you've forgotten what it was, because we're well past quitting day for New Year's resolutions. And I would love for you to get in touch with that one more time. What is it that you're looking to manifest right now? What's the thing that you are calling in your energy? And in this breath, I would like you to consider, what are you letting go? For this full moon today, what are we letting go? What's no longer serving you that you don't need to manifest this? Maybe it's actually standing in the way of that coming and pouring in and you accepting it. Maybe it's that resistance. So releasing on this beautiful full moon, that resistance. And then we can be ready for stepping through the process. So this awareness perhaps is showing up for you on what there is to release to this full moon today. So what are you releasing to the full moon today? So in that awareness, and I'm going to tell some stories about this in just a minute when we get to our experience. But I want you to just feel it, be aware of it, and feel the truth of the releasing of that. Because once you have awareness, it gives rise to learning. And that's what our last week I talked about learning, what there is to learn, and all the different ways you can learn something and how it can come into your world. Sometimes that's through friends, sometimes that's through connections, sometimes it's a quick Google search, and sometimes it's actual formal learning where you register and go to school. And hundreds of other ways that can come out. So that's the learning. That's the L in a leap. The E is experience. And experience is the call to take some action on this thing you just learned. So today, as we think about the thing we're going to release, and if you have any awareness around that, I love releasing through coloring. And so I was just talking to a friend this morning about how powerful coloring is. So if you've got nothing else in your learning space for this releasement on this full moon today, pull out some colors, some markers, some crayons, whatever you've got in color, and start coloring. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be in the lines. It simply allows your brain to relax and release. So from that state, then we can look at, well, what idea for action Inspired action is coming forward. This is the experience piece. This is the piece where, depending on your personality type, will show up in action. And there are 3 different ways I've seen people really get into this experience piece. One is my more thinkers, where they're going to stick their toe in. They're going to think about it more, and they're going to stick their toe in. They're going to go try it. Now, the challenge with this one is sometimes you just keep thinking and keep learning and never stick your toe in. So this is what if you are a thinker, if that's your first propensity, when you're like, I have an idea, and you're like, well, let me think about that. If that's your first propensity, nothing wrong here. I encourage you to find the thing inside that thinking that is actionable. What action? And maybe it's a self-care. Maybe it's doing something for someone else. Maybe it's an action on the learning. Any one of those, and hundreds of more prompts are possible. So that's the first style. The second style are my doers. They're the ones who are like, I have an idea, let's go do it. You don't have any challenge with this place. You don't have any challenge with let's get some experience in this new learning. Let's go find out what it feels like. Let's go do it. You don't have challenge with that, but the challenge that you might show up with is you keep doing it well beyond the experience stage. It's time to stop and let that go and move on to the next thing or the next iteration or the next inspired action, and stop with the one that started. And then the third style of action inside of this is to call in a friend. And this is my more common way of actually getting in action, is to say, oh, who can I do this with? And so I've been telling this story about, through the awareness of how I discovered that I was missing creativity in my world. And I told that story in the awareness video, so you can go back and see it there. And then when we went out to learning, I actually registered for art school because that's what was truly calling to me. I was looking for a more formal education, something that would really ground me in why art? What is it for? Why is it needed on the planet? And so that allowed me to really get immersed. Well, when I left art school, there were a few reasons that I left, and one of them is that I had enrolled in furniture design. And I discovered, of course, that I didn't live in North Carolina, where all the furniture in the U.S. is made, and I didn't have a home workshop where I could make art furniture. And I would have to set that up or figure it out or go to my brother's in any one of those. And it was just one of those moments saying, oh, I learned some things, and yet the application into my world wasn't really there. And so now it was time for me to go experience art and creativity in my life. And I didn't have a lot of basis for that. So I did a few things. One is I called a friend and we went to an open studio painting class at the community center. And I was happy she came with me because although I had been in art school, I'd only taken one painting class. I didn't do very well at it. And I really needed to experience with other people just the freedom of painting for no reason. And to continue to do that. So I did that as the first experience, and it was like an 8-week studio. And inside of that studio, I discovered my unique painting style. Now, some people spend their lifetime trying to figure that out. Mine was revealed to me in that 8-week painting studio. And following that, then the next inspired action was actually to get into a juried art space where I painted regularly. And I never could have done that step without doing the first experience step. So this is the experience step. This is about going to discover something in your real life about the thing you just learned so you can manifest it deeply. And so manifesting in this sense of finding, especially if you're looking at finding purpose or doing something you love every day, or habits that work for you, or lots of abundance showing up for you, there is a step-by-step process that happens that sometimes leaping from one in your human form to the next one is nearly impossible. And yet, if you take the step-by-step experience process, you're going to look for an inspired action, go do that action, assess that action when it's done, and then step to the next inspired action. So it's a stepping from packet to packet to packet to packet. That's about a dream, and I'll talk about that on another video about how the packets of experience were revealed to me inside of a dream. Yeah, we'll talk about that in another video. And so this idea of then going into the art studio at the same time, then I was also inspired to open a wellness center. I opened a wellness center that was open for 18 months. It was an incredible experience, and it really helped me heal a bunch of things as well. So all the things laying in place so that I could go to the next thing. I led some retreats. I was invited to be a retreat leader at that time. I said yes. I had that experience of doing that. And so following that, I started then coaching some people. I had art, I had the wellness center, I had all of this experience of learning energy healing. And now I was like, well, what do I do with all this stuff? What am I inspired to do? And so this came down to the practice of experience, which is, what is the inspired action? Go do that, and then come back and evaluate. Am I still doing that, or am we doing something new? And it allows us to quickly and accurately move through our world and get experience so that we can move on to the next step in manifesting, which I'm going to talk about next week. It's in the leap formula, and this is apply. So we're going to talk all about that next week in Manifesting Monday, in the LEAP formula, what it takes to actually get things to manifest for you. And let's see if I have something else. So I did one yesterday, actually on Saturday, I did a visioning with some beautiful folks. And we drew a card from the Angels, Peacocks, and Butterflies deck. And it was a challenging one for everyone's word for 2025. And yet it's exactly the card that's needed for this unit today, which is this experience piece. Because when we step into experience, especially after we've already had a new awareness, we've had some new learning, the next thing to do, and inside of that, I pulled this mercy card. Now, the mercy card has been very, very misunderstood. And this is how I define mercy, is loving the unlovable and forgiving the unforgivable. And it is not from an outside source. That is from you to you. So this is loving yourself so unconditionally that you can take that action. So this experience also calls for mercy, which is also to forgive all the things that you've done in the past that maybe didn't manifest that you were looking to manifest. Maybe we're looking at the things to forgive the actions you took, or the places you stayed too long, or the people that you hung out with and they weren't right for your process. This is this full-on space where you can be forgiveness to you. And then forget the transgressions that you have in your own mind said, oh, well, I can't have that because. So the practice of mercy is on this full moon, and full circle we have going here, which is to now release. Release the things that were in the past and now step into this experience with brand new shining eyes, your brand new awareness, your brand new learning, and let's go manifest an experience a new experience in a new way with the new you. And then the other card that we drew yesterday is this one. Enjoying. Huh. Yeah. Let's enjoy the process. Let's have some fun with it. Let's do all the things that we've been wanting to do. That sets us on the path to manifesting all of our dreams, because you're manifesting every day. So let's enjoy the process. So with that, we are complete with today's Manifesting Monday. And I hope that you have something beautiful that you're inspired to do. And if not, simply sit with the full moon today and see what's going to be released. What are you releasing today so that you can manifest the next thing? I will be back here next Monday at 11:11 Pacific time for the next Manifesting Monday. We will be talking about the A in a leap, or the second A in a leap, which is totally blanked it. I just said it, which is applying. And we will talk all about that next time. So thank you for joining me today. Have a fantastic, beautiful day and full moon experience. And we will see you next week.